Hello friends, Tom Downey here for NFL Daily on Chat Sports. Time to talk a little bit of NFL trade rumors. The deadline is almost here. We'll call it about 48 hours away. So what players could get dealt at what could be a rather busy trade deadline? First up, one player who allegedly wants out of his current team, that is DeSean Jackson. NFL.com reports that Jackson has requested a trade away from the Buccaneers, but so far, obviously, the Bucs have really refused to shop him. Now, Dirk Cutter had said he wasn't aware of the trade request, which either means, one of three things. He's lying, he didn't know, DeSean Jackson hasn't asked for it. You can take a pick on which one you think it ends up being there, but DeSean Jackson, of course, had a big touchdown in today's game for the Bucs. The Bucs are trying to win right now. That's the whole purpose of this regime with Winston, with the front office, with Dirk Cutter, head coach. Trading away DeSean Jackson, while it helps you in the future, doesn't necessarily help you in the immediate present. So, if DeSean Jackson is dealt, here are 5 teams I say to keep an eye out for. The Eagles and Redskins reunions for DeSean Jackson. The Eagles, by the way, I think would be a great fit for DeSean Jackson. They could use one more burner, kind of in that Torrey Smith mold. Jackson would be great. And then I'll throw out the Houston Texans. Remember, Will Fuller is now out for the year. DeSean Jackson slide right in that exact same mold as an absolute burner deep threat. All right, more receiver talk here. Odell Beckham. Now, according to Jay Glazer, NFL teams called about trading for Beckham. Now, a trade is not going to go down right now. The Giants are going to keep him. But this is noteworthy, and frankly, it shouldn't be that surprising because the Giants are up for sale right now in terms of their roster. A lot of different players can be had. They already traded away Eli Apple. They traded away Damon Harrison. Not a surprise that teams would have called about Odell Beckham. Teams probably called about Landon Collins too. The Giants apparently got decent offers, but they're going to keep their young franchise focal point in Odell Beckham. Now, as for the Giants, let me know in the comment section who else you think they should trade. I think Janoris Jenkins makes sense. You could maybe do an Olivier Vernon, but I think he can still bring you value next year. We'll see what the Giants do at the deadline, but they're going to be one of the obvious sellers this trade deadline season. All right, stick with offense here. Lev Bell and Jason La Canfora, so grain of salt on this one, says the Steelers are still committed to shopping or at least open to trading Lev Bell. Now, Bell does not want to get traded. He doesn't want to. He wants to stay in Pittsburgh for the rest of the season, and then he thinks he'll have more success there than going somewhere else and maybe rotating early on with his new team because he has to learn a whole new playbook. The Steelers won a third, but in the end, I don't think you're going to see a Lev Bell trade. It requires Bell to show up and sign his franchise tender and be willing to play for a new team, and so far, Bell doesn't want to do that. But is this finally the week that he reports to the Steelers? Now, there was the one report that he'd show up after the bye week, and that didn't happen, or during the bye week, and that didn't happen. The latest reports are that he could show up after the trade deadline ends. We'll see if he actually does that. That'll be at 4:01 Eastern time, so we'll stay tuned for that, maybe during our NFL trade deadline show, which will be live on Facebook and YouTube during the NFL trade deadline. Maybe we'll get the report during that time that Lev Bell has reported to Pittsburgh. All right, next up at halfback, LeSean McCoy. Still don't expect a trade to go down here. Now, he's been an obvious trade candidate because he's an aging halfback. All right. Beyond that, the Bills aren't going to win this year, and that's not a huge necessarily knock on the Buffalo Bills. They're just not that good of a football team right now. The question is for the Bills, do you want to keep LeSean McCoy for this year and next year on the grounds that it will improve Josh Allen's development? If it does, maybe you don't trade him. They had a high asking price for LeSean McCoy, reportedly a second and a third round pick, which they're not going to get. But if you can get a third round pick, I know it hurts you right now, I'd consider it. Halfbacks are relatively common in today's NFL. If you can get a mid-round pick for an aging halfback, I say do it. I know it hurts you right now, and Josh Allen is down yet another offensive guy that isn't completely terrible. But I think if I'm the Bills, you got to focus on the future. I'd trade away LeSean McCoy. All right, over to a receiver again here. Look, no surprise, a lot of these are offensive-minded focuses here. Pierre Garcon is on the trade block for the 49ers, which makes sense, right? San Francisco's not going to win. You can also throw out guys like Jimmy Ward and Eric Armstead, who could be potential trade baits as well for the 49ers. A veteran wideout. His salary is pretty reasonable. It kind of checks in around 5.5 to 6.5 this year and next. Of course, it's prorated for this year, so it's actually less than that. But it makes sense if a veteran team wants a reliable receiver like Garcon to call. The big issue is, how much is he actually worth in a trade because he hasn't stayed healthy? So I don't know if you actually see Pierre get dealt. If he does, I don't think he'd bring very much back because you have a tough time trusting him to actually stay healthy and on the field. All right, next up, the Patriots. Do they want a wide receiver? Now, Jay Glazer reports that they want one and we're offering high draft picks, I assume to mean a first and or a second round pick. I don't know which player they want. Two names that jump out to me. If you're giving up a lot of picks, we mentioned Odell Beckham earlier, and a perfect Patriots receiver, by the way, is Golden Tate. Now, I don't know if Patriots are offering enough to get him or if the Lions want to move him, but Tate could be a big name that ends up being available on the trade block. Patriots, I'm kind of surprised by it. I know they're banged up at halfback and they need more guys, but Edelman, Gordon, Hogan's been okay. Plus you got Gronk, of course. I'm a little surprised they're trying to get another big name receiver into that receiver room. All right, folks, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code NFL120 when you sign up. That gets you a 120% deposit bonus. What that means is, put down $100, they'll give you $120 for free for a grand total of $220 to bet with on BetDSI. If you sign up at chatsports.com/bet, you're getting house money. All right, two more guys here on the defensive side of the ball. Bruce Irvin. Look, the Raiders are completely open for sale. John Gruden and McKenzie right now, they're like, hey, make us an offer. We'll see what you guys are offering for our players. I don't think there's a single player on that roster, beyond maybe their current picks from this year, i.e. Colton Miller and the like, that are not available in trades. Bruce Irvin is one of those guys. He doesn't fit the Raiders' timeline to win right now. I know Oakland fans like him, and I think for good reason, but if you can get a mid-round pick for Bruce Irvin, don't you do it? You get out of the salary going forward, you get picks back, and in the end, that's the point for Oakland. They need picks now, at least for the future as well. So I don't think Oakland's done. I think many of you agree with me. Who's the next Oakland player to be dealt? I will go with Carl Joseph, the former first-round pick out of West Virginia. I think, and I would not be surprised at all if he gets dealt to a safety-needy team before the trade deadline ends on Tuesday. Speaking of safeties, how about Haha Clinton-Dix? And this one, I actually have a tough time believing. It comes from Albert Breer, and even Jay Glazer said he's not on the trade block too, which I don't agree with. Because the argument was, oh, the Packers are good in the secondary. Their corners are pretty good, but their safeties have not played well this year. I know that Clinton-Dix is in the last year of his deal, but he has consistently been one of their best secondary guys. He's made a lot of plays in terms of interceptions. He has 3 of them this year. The Packers have not put Josh Jones on the field at all this year. If you're trying to win right now, trading away Haha Clinton-Dix makes you worse in the secondary. So you'll hear his name a couple more times, I'm sure, before Tuesday's deadline. I have a tough time seeing Clinton-Dix actually be moved unless the Packers get a surprisingly large offer for a guy in the last year who's about to get paid in a big, big way. All right, folks, stay tuned for Tuesday's NFL trade deadline. We will be live on Facebook and YouTube with all the trades and rumors as they happen.